You'd think your sister would be the one person in the world who would never stab you in the back. Well, mine twisted the knife. Stick with me while I share my story, and if it touches you, don't forget to support our channel by hitting that subscribe button, dropping a like, and sharing it with the people you care about. My name is Kayla Monroe. I'm 28 years old and work as an interior designer in Atlanta. I had what most people would call a perfect life. My career was going great. I had just finished designing 3 high-end condos. I lived in a cozy but beautiful apartment downtown, and I was engaged to Liam Carter, a smart, kind civil engineer. We had been together for 3 years, and were planning our wedding for the fall. My family loved him. Life felt steady, full, safe. Then came Jenna, my younger sister. She's 25 and the kind of person people call the fun one. She always knew how to light up a room. But growing up, she was always comparing herself to me. I was the responsible one, the smart one, the one with goals. Jenna floated through life, changing jobs every few months, never moving out of our parents' house, always chasing attention. After her latest breakup, she called me crying, saying she needed a break from everything. I told her she could come stay with me for a bit. Family is family, right? I wanted to help her. She moved into the guest room with just 2 suitcases and a big bottle of fake tears. At first, things were fine. She said thank you, offered to cook a few meals, and even helped tidy up. Liam was supportive too, said it was kind of me to let her stay. But then little things started bothering me. Jenna and Liam began joking around a lot, like way too much. They'd laugh at things I didn't understand. Inside jokes that made me feel like the outsider in my own home. One night, I came out of the bedroom and found her on the couch in my hoodie, laughing at something on Liam's phone. She said, "Oh, I just borrowed this. It's so comfy. No big deal, right?" But then there were more late nights. Jenna would come home at odd hours and wouldn't say where she'd been. Sometimes I'd notice my perfume missing. One day, I saw her leave the apartment wearing a dress I had worn just last week on a date with Liam. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to seem crazy or paranoid. But in my gut, something felt off. I wanted to trust them. I needed to. This was my sister and my fiancé, the 2 people I should have been able to count on. But slowly, things were starting to crack. I just didn't know yet how deep the betrayal would go. The uneasy feeling in my stomach wouldn't go away, but I kept pushing it down. I told myself I was being dramatic. Jenna was my sister. Liam was my fiancé. I couldn't let a few weird moments destroy everything we'd built. Still, things were changing. Liam started coming home later than usual. He said work was crazy, that he was dealing with deadlines and projects that were running behind. But even when he was home, he wasn't there. He'd skip dinner, sit on the couch glued to his phone, and barely looked up when I spoke. When I asked him what was wrong, he'd sigh and say, "I'm just tired, Kayla." Jenna wasn't helping. She started making little comments that felt more like digs than jokes. "You're so serious all the time," she said once, laughing. "Maybe you're just not exciting enough for someone like Liam." I smiled awkwardly and brushed it off, but her words stuck with me. Another time she said, "You 2 don't even cuddle anymore. That's weird, right?" I didn't respond. I just walked away. One night, while making the bed in the guest room, I noticed something strange. Liam's cologne on Jenna's pillow. I froze. It was his exact scent, one I knew better than my own. My chest tightened. I wanted to scream. But instead, I laughed it off, convincing myself maybe she sprayed it on herself by accident. I couldn't let my mind go there. Not yet. The tension in the apartment got heavier every day. I started to feel like a stranger in my own home. I was either being too quiet or too loud, too cold or too clingy. Everything I said seemed to annoy Liam, and Jenna kept acting like she was the victim, like I was the one being unreasonable. Then came the dinner party. My best friend Natalie came over with her boyfriend. We laughed, we drank wine, but I could see it in her eyes. She noticed it too, the weird vibe. The way Jenna kept trying to dominate every conversation, and how Liam laughed too hard at her jokes. After everyone left, Natalie texted me, "I don't want to worry you, but something's off. Trust your gut, Kayla." And just like that, the cracks I'd been ignoring started to feel like full-on fracture. I tried to hold myself together, but the knot in my stomach kept getting tighter. Every time Liam smiled at his phone or Jenna giggled in the next room, something inside me twisted. I didn't want to believe what I was feeling, but it became impossible to ignore. I was barely sleeping. My mind kept racing, playing scenes I hadn't witnessed, but could somehow feel were real. One night, Liam left his tablet on the couch and went to shower. I don't know what pushed me, but my hands moved before my brain caught up. I opened it. The first thing I saw was a hotel confirmation email. My heart thudded in my chest. I opened it. 2 nights at a downtown boutique hotel, reserved just last weekend. My hands shook. I clicked deeper into the messages. There they were. Texts from Liam to Jenna. "Can't wait to see you again. You looked amazing in my shirt." Selfies of them lying in bed, smiling like they didn't just tear my world apart. I dropped the tablet like it burned me. I sat there frozen, for I don't know how long. Then I stood up. I waited for Liam to come out of the bathroom, towel around his waist like nothing was wrong. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just held the tablet out and said, "So this is what we're doing now?" His face paled. He didn't even try to lie. "I didn't plan for this to happen," he mumbled. "It just happened." I was confused. Confused? I snapped. "You're sleeping with my sister, Liam." Jenna walked into the room just then, like it was a show she'd been waiting to join. She smirked. "You were never right for him anyway." That was it. That one sentence broke me in a way nothing else could have. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I just walked past them, grabbed my keys and my phone, and walked out. I didn't take a bag. I didn't even put on shoes. I got in my car and drove to Natalie's place, tears blurring my vision. That night, everything changed. My home, my relationship, my own family, it all betrayed me in one breath. I didn't sleep. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, realizing that the people I loved most had torn me apart from the inside out. But the pain was only the beginning. The real story hadn't even started yet. I stayed at Natalie's place for the first few weeks after everything came crashing down. I barely spoke. I barely ate. She tried to cheer me up with movies, wine, even ice cream, but none of it touched the ache sitting in my chest. I'd lost more than a fiancé. I'd lost trust. I'd lost the sister I once believed would always have my back. Every time I closed my eyes, memories came flooding in. Jenna sneaking into my room when we were kids, stealing my favorite dress before a school dance. The time she told Mom I'd broken Grandma's vase, when it was really her. She always had a way of turning things around, playing the victim, making me look like the bad guy. I had always forgiven her, always brushed it off with, "She's my little sister." But this was different. This was betrayal on a level I couldn't forget. As the days passed, my tears slowly dried up. I started to feel something new, not sadness. Not even anger. It was colder than that. Quieter. A kind of stillness that came from knowing you've been broken, but also knowing you're not going to stay broken for long. One morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. Hair a mess. Eyes puffy. But something in me had changed. I wasn't going to beg anyone to treat me right. I wasn't going to sit around waiting for closure. If they wanted each other so badly, they could have each other. But I would make sure they paid for what they did. I started planning. Not loud, not dramatic, quiet and smart. The kind of payback that didn't look like revenge at first. I wasn't going to scream or post angry rants online. No, that wasn't me. I was going to do what I do best. Stay calm, stay smart, and hit where it hurt most. Let Jenna keep Liam. Let them play house in the apartment I built. I'd walk away, but not before making sure they realized just how much of that life depended on me. Let them have each other. I'd make sure they regretted it. The first step was simple. I called the landlord and told him I was moving out. I explained that Liam would be staying and that I'd like to remove my name from the lease. The landlord was surprised but cooperative. Liam had a good enough credit score, and I made sure to sound calm and civil. No drama. No reason for anyone to suspect what I was really doing. Then I sent Liam an email. Short, polite, almost sweet. I told him I wished them both well, and that I'd be coming by next week to collect the rest of my thing. I said I understood that sometimes things happen for a reason, and maybe they were truly meant to be. I even thanked him for the memories. I knew Liam would show the email to Jenna. I wanted him to. I wanted her to read every word and feel like she'd won. I imagined her grinning with satisfaction, thinking she'd stolen my life out from under me. Let her think that. Let them both think I was hurt and walking away with my tail between my legs. Then came the fun part. I went through every single account I had connected to the apartment. The Wi-Fi? Cancelled. Electric, water, gas. All shut off with notices sent directly to Liam. The TV streaming services, the gym membership Liam liked, even the wine subscription Jenna had been using, all cancelled or transferred to Liam's name. The joint credit card? Closed. And not before I made a detailed list of every charge Jenna had made just once, but never paid for. I sent them a little note, warm, cheerful, full of fake smiles. "Hey guys, just letting you know the utilities and services are all yours now. Didn't want to cause any confusion. Wishing you both all the best." I could picture them laughing at it, thinking I was trying to guilt them, that I was being dramatic, that I was bitter and petty. They had no idea I wasn't trying to get a reaction. I was setting the trap. You see, the moment I stepped out of that apartment, everything started to shift. I had built that space, that life, that comfort. They didn't realize how much of it ran because of me. How much I managed, paid for, took care of. Let them laugh. Soon, they'd stop laughing. Liam and Jenna moved in like they were starting a fresh chapter, laughing, decorating, playing house in the apartment I once called home. What they didn't realize was that the second I stepped out, the real price of their betrayal started to show. The rent, for one, had quietly jumped by $400. When I'd removed my name from the lease, the landlord reassessed the term. Without my tenant history and stable income, the deal changed. Liam hadn't read the fine print, just signed in a rush, eager to get me out. Now it was biting him hard. Then came the bills. Every shared account I had, every auto-pay and subscription, had been quietly transferred to Liam. The gym he went to 3 times a week, his now, and they charged the full year up front. Our Wine of the Month club? Still coming, but now billed to his card. The home cleaning service I had on a monthly retainer? Still showing up. Still expecting payment. It didn't stop there. The refrigerator, the one Jenna constantly overfilled with takeout and wine, broke down. The warranty, in my name, had expired a week earlier. The repair? $500 out of pocket. A week later, a plumbing issue backed up the kitchen sink. Liam called the landlord, expecting it to be covered. But because the issue was caused by a tenant-caused blockage, thanks to Jenna pouring grease down the drain, the cost was on them. But the best part came in a sleek white envelope. A high-end boutique Jenna used to borrow from. One I had an open tab at for work events and client gifts. Sent a bill. $1,200. Jenna had gone shopping there the month before, saying she'd pay me back. She never did. But now, since I'd transferred the account to her name before closing it, it was all hers. Each bill hit them like a wave they weren't prepared for. They thought taking my place meant taking my life. What they didn't realize is, my life came with responsibilities, payments, and strings they couldn't see. They stepped into it thinking they'd won. But I'd left them a house of cards, and now it was falling. The cracks in their perfect little love nest started showing fast. Liam and Jenna had walked into that apartment like they were stepping into a dream. But within a month, reality punched them square in the face. The bills kept coming. The rent increase, the surprise repairs, the unpaid boutique tab, it all added up. And with every unexpected expense, the honeymoon phase started to rot. At first, it was small arguments. Jenna snapping about the empty fridge. Liam groaning about how much she spent on just a few candles. But soon, the tension boiled into full-blown fights. "You're broke," Jenna spat one night, loud enough that a neighbor recorded it and posted the audio on TikTok. Yes, it went mildly viral. "You act like you're this big-shot engineer, but you can't even afford a new coffee table. And you're a spoiled brat who's never paid a single bill in your life," Liam fired back. "You used your sister like a bank, and now you're mad the ATM's closed?" Their romance, built on betrayal, had no real foundation, just lust, adrenaline, and the thrill of doing something wrong. But that doesn't last when the lights get shut off and the rent's overdue. Jenna started to blame me, loudly and often. "She's still ruining my life," she cried to a mutual friend. "Even when she's gone, she finds a way to make me suffer." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Because while they crumbled, I was rebuilding. After a few weeks of crying and couch sleeping, I stood up, brushed myself off, and took a job offer I'd been ignoring. A higher-paying role at a prestigious design firm across town. New team, new office, fresh start. And that's where I met Derek Chase. He was charming in a calm, grounded way. Ran a local art gallery, worked with emerging artists, and didn't once make me feel like I had to shrink myself to make him comfortable. We met at a fundraiser my firm sponsored. He offered me a glass of wine and asked me about my favorite design aesthetic instead of trying to impress me with his resume. I liked that. We started seeing each other casually, coffee, a walk through the botanical gardens, a small dinner party with his friends. No pressure, no pretending. Meanwhile, Liam and Jenna spiraled deeper into chaos. I didn't call, didn't text. I just watched quietly from a distance. I didn't need revenge to be loud. Sometimes silence speaks louder than anything. Jenna must have hit rock bottom, because one rainy afternoon, I got a text from her. No apology, no shame, just a pathetic, "Hey sis, could you help me cover a few emergency expenses? I'm kinda in a bind right now." I stared at the message, my fingers hovering over the screen. I almost laughed. Instead of replying with words, I emailed her a clean, organized PDF file titled, "Outstanding Debts, Jenna Monroe." It had every unpaid charge she'd racked up in my name, boutique tabs, subscriptions, even a dog-sitting fee she'd promised to handle for a friend. I included due dates and total amounts. Just facts. No emotion. No response from her after that. Silence. Then came Liam. He showed up at my office unannounced, acting like we were still on good terms. My receptionist buzzed in, sounding confused. "There's a Liam Carter here? Says he knows you." I didn't hesitate. "Tell him I've never heard that name before." She nodded, and moments later, I watched through the glass as he was escorted out of the lobby. He looked stunned. I didn't feel a thing. But I wasn't done. A few weeks later, Derek and I set a date. It was small, just a garden ceremony with close friends and family. No drama, no chaos, just love. I mailed the invitations out by hand. And yes, I sent one to Jenna. Inside, I tucked a little handwritten note. Don't worry, it's not fancy. You already used up my budget. No return address. No call. Just a clean reminder that her choices had consequences. I heard she cried, threw the invite across the room, screamed at Liam, who apparently had just lost his job. They weren't doing well, financially, emotionally, or otherwise. But that wasn't my concern anymore. I had moved on, found peace, found someone who loved me without games or betrayal. Jenna and Liam taught me the hardest lesson of my life, that not everyone who calls you family or forever really means it. But the best part? I didn't just survive them. I outgrew them. Liam finally reached his limit the day he came home to find their apartment. Jenna had smashed a lamp during one of her tantrums, spilled red wine on the white couch, and left dishes piled sky-high in the sink. The final straw? His credit cards, both of them, were maxed out. Not on emergencies, but on impulsive shopping sprees and spa treatments she claimed were self-care. He didn't even argue. He packed his things, left the keys on the kitchen counter, and texted her 2 words. We're done. Jenna didn't take it well. She blew up his phone, sobbing, begging, blaming Kayla, blaming everyone but herself. Eventually, she ran out of people to call. She moved back in with our parents, tail between her legs, broke, bitter, and completely alone. I heard about all of it from Natalie, who still had friends connected to Jenna. Jenna was back in her childhood bedroom, complaining that life wasn't fair, that I had ruined everything. She still couldn't see the part she played. As for Liam, he tried. He emailed me first, something long and full of empty apologies. I didn't read it all. Then he tried texting from a new number. Said he missed me. Said he made a mistake. I didn't respond. I blocked him everywhere. There's nothing more satisfying than silence. A few weeks later, I ran into Jenna at a local grocery store. I was with Derek. We were picking up things for a weekend trip to the lake. I spotted her near the frozen section. She looked tired. Her hair was unwashed, hoodie oversized, face pale like she hadn't slept in days. Her cart had only cheap microwave meals and generic shampoo. She saw me, froze. For a moment, it felt like the world slowed down. The same sister who used to strut around in my clothes, brag about stealing my life, now looked like a ghost of herself. I didn't stop. I didn't flinch. I just smiled, not cruelly, but calmly, and walked past her like she was a stranger I'd already forgotten. Because, in a way, she was. She made her choices, and I had made mine. I chose peace, love, and a life she couldn't poison. That day, I didn't say a word, but my silence said everything. Sometimes, when the sun sets just right over the backyard, casting a golden glow over the string lights and wine glasses, I pause and take it all in, not with sadness, but with clarity. I'm not the same woman who cried herself to sleep wondering what she did wrong. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just free. Derek sits beside me, laughing at a joke one of our friends told. His hand finds mine beneath the table, warm, steady, honest. Around us, there's chatter, music, the smell of grilled food, the kind of joy that doesn't need to be flaunted. It just is. My business is thriving. A client recently called my work transformative. I've got a team now, projects lined up across the city, and for the first time in years, I feel like I'm living a life that's truly mine. People ask if I've spoken to Jenna, if I ever wonder what would have happened if she hadn't betrayed me. But I don't wonder. I don't reach out, and I definitely don't regret walking away. Jenna and Liam? They got exactly what they asked for, each other. A messy, shallow, broken relationship built on lies and ego. That's not love. That's punishment disguised as passion. I think back to who I was before all of this. Always trying to keep the peace. Always giving, forgiving, making space for people who would never do the same for me. Not anymore. Now, I wake up without anxiety. I go to bed without replaying old arguments in my head. I smile without wondering who's waiting to stab me in the back. I didn't just lose a fiancé or a sister. I lost dead weight. And in that loss, I found myself. So, if you're asking what happened to them, I don't know. I don't care. Let her have him. I gave them exactly what they deserved, each other. What would you have done in Kayla's shoes? Walked away in silence, or given Jenna one last chance to make it right? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you love a good dose of drama and revenge, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next.